airplanes that I was a hero of, actually, that pilot may have survived. Very good chance. He may become a prisoner, or he may be rescued by his own country.
Right.
But so it wasn't so hard for me then to service the Japanese people there in down by Hawthorne there.
Oh yeah.
And so on. And
Nice.
It was an odd life. And it, let's see, what finally happened? Oh, I started while I was working for the Blue Chip Stamp Company. I started night school becoming a doctor and graduated and did become a doctor. And it's so odd, even my whole life, you wouldn't believe. My territory was, as I said, down in Hawthorne area.
Mm.
And one day, after I graduated and became a licensed doctor, and I was still working for Blue Chip Stamp Company, and I went into there's a downtown in Hawthorne. There is a huge big markway right in the center of Hawthorne, and it had every kind of a business in it, and a huge big parking center in the middle of it. And what I was doing in there, I don't know. I pulled into that shopping center, and I parked in the middle of this big parking lot, and I was kind of looking at the different buildings that there was every kind restaurant, from a restaurant to a mechanic's garage, even every kind of a business in that whole city big parking lot. And so I got out of my car and parked it in the center of it. And I was kind of looking at all the different businesses and so on. And I found one, it was a doctor's office, but it was vacant. And I was standing there. I had my license. I just got my license, but I was still working for Blue Chip Stamp Company.
Uh-huh.
And I looking at this doctor's office, and a man come walking up to me, and he says, "Can I help you?" And I says, "Help me? How, what?" He says, "I'm the manager of this shopping center." He says, "Are you interested in this office here?" And I said, "Well, yes, I am, kind of." And he said, "Well, it's a doctor's office." He said, "What do you want to use it for?" And I says, "Well," I said, "I am a licensed actor." I says, "I'm a chiropractor." He says, "You're a chiropractor? What are you doing as in a shopping center?" And I says, "Well, I just became a graduate and a licensed chiropractor." He said, "Well, you want to see inside the office?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." He unlocked the door, and it was the most beautiful doctor's office on this earth. It had a reception center that was out of this world. It had a receptionist office, waiting part on the front part of the room. It had treatment rooms all the way down the hall, and clear down at the end of the hall, it had the most best x-ray room. There was no x-ray machine in it, but it had everything else. had its own development lab and everything. It was the most complete doctor's office on this earth, I'll tell you anything. And he took me in there and I saw it, and I'd like to have it. He said, well, how much and so on. We worked out a plan where, well, I quit my job then with Blue Chip Stamp Company. I had my license, and you got to hardly believe a life could like turn like this. Here is this complete office. My grandmother owned that house down there, the first one. My aunt and uncle owned the second house, and my dad and stepmother the third. They all died in 1 year, and I inherited that property. And I sold all 3 of those houses, and I had that lump of money in the bank.
Right.
So I was able to rent that office, and I was told that there was a factory down in San Diego that manufactured every doctor's equipment that doctors put in their office. And I went down there and I bought from a complete X-ray room to a complete laboratory that went into that office in that big, gorgeous shopping center. I even put on an air show in their parking lot one day, 1 year, that I was in that office down there for 30 years or something or more.
Wow.
And I became actually the most successful bone popper that ever come along. It was an odd thing. Back in those days, there was a lot of animosity between medical doctors and chiropractors. And, well, I bought and put in that office, I had every first aid, every physiotherapy machine that had ever been invented. That office was more equipped than some hospitals. I had everything for the human body, period. And in my first few weeks of open up practice, why, Gracie was my receptionist. She was in Inglewood High School, but it was summer vacation. And she was on summer vacation. So she came down there and became my receptionist on her summer vacation.
Oh.
Well,
I remember Gracie. I remember Gracie.
You're going to find it hard to believe, fate. She was there almost all her summer. I had a lady patient that I saw before what happened that I'd seen 2 or 3 times. Well, by then, Gracie had to go back to high school. Summer vacation was over.
Right.
And so I had to hire somebody else to be my receptionist.
Right.
Well, because she was going at the weekend, she was going to be gone. She wouldn't be with me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it so happened that this lady worked in the restaurant that was in that shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And I treated her two or three times. And this weekend that Gracie was going to leave me, she came in on a Friday, and I told her, I says, now, hon, I says, when you come in next time, I says, don't be frightened. I says, there's going to be another receptionist here. My daughter is not going to be here anymore. She's got to go back to high school. And she looked, she says, you're going to hire a receptionist? And I says, yeah. She says, you know, I'm a waitress in the restaurant here in the shopping center. But I'd love to be a receptionist in an office like this. And you would? I says, you could start Monday? She says, yes. LaSalle was her name.
Mm.
LaSalle came into my office Monday morning and was my receptionist right away. Estelle was with me when I retired. That's how many years she was with me.
Wow.
And Estelle was an odd kind of person in a way. When she first day, she served very well. She seemed to know how to talk to people and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But as the days went by, a cell became a cell more than you could think. And she had a brain. Well, I mean, it was only a matter of 4 or 5 weeks that she was with me, that she was the boss. And she run my business within a month or two. Estelle was the boss of this doctor's office.
Oh, okay.
And she was with me when I retired all those years. Wow. And she became a very close friend of my wife, Gracie.
Right.
And the two of them became business managers investing in stocks and bonds. Well, to the point that, well, they liked to buy different stocks and bonds. And they put them in my name. They, well, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments that they made during their lives.
Oh, boy.
There's still investments.
Wow.
Even though I didn't know a thing about them, I should say, for years and years afterwards, why, even after Gracie died, why, I'd get a notice from some stock company that my stocks now were due in paying, and they were worth so many $100,000.
Oh, man.
It